Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be filming my Crohn's disease story. So I always watch videos of people who have Crohn's disease, and it kind of inspired me to make my own video and just talk about my own journey. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So if you don't know what Crohn's is, it's basically a chronic inflammatory disease that infects the lining of your digestive tract. So it comes with many complications and it's different in everybody, so everyone has different symptoms. So growing up I always had stomach issues, but it was never anything like crazy. I would have these like stomach attacks if I had dairy, so I always assumed I was just lactose intolerant, and my grandma had IBS, so I always just thought that's what it was. As I got older and I started to eat bad, I guess, I was eating a lot of fast food, I was just in an unhealthy place in my life. I was starting to get stomach aches here and there more often, and then I would have a stomach ache and still go out and eat fast food. So I was just doing the worst possible thing for my body. So back in February, the beginning of 2020, I was going through a week of having really bad stomach pain. Now, like when I tell you, like it hurt me to turn over in bed, like I was waking up in the middle of my sleep. I was just super uncomfortable. I got to the point where I just didn't want to wait to like make an appointment with a GI. I didn't want to wait to do any of that. I just made my dad take me to the hospital. Now, if you know me, I hate the hospital. So for me to do that, I was like definitely in a lot of pain. So he took me to the Staten Island University Hospital, and they did the urine test, they did blood work, they did a CAT scan, and while I was there in the middle of doing these tests, I spiked a fever. So that was also like really weird. So through the CAT scan, they found out that it was Crohn's disease right away because I had a fistula and an abscess. So if you don't know what a fistula is, it's basically like a hole that forms in your intestine, and an abscess is like a form of pus, so it's basically an infection. That's what was causing my fever, and sometimes when you have an abscess you have to get it drained. Luckily I didn't. I knew what Crohn's disease was, so it wasn't as big of a surprise as it would have been for the normal person because my brother has Crohn's disease and I always knew like his symptoms and stuff. I never thought it was that though. So Staten Island Hospital kept me Monday night and Tuesday night, and I went home on Wednesday. They just released me with, first of all, the first thing that really pissed me off was I told them I couldn't swallow pills. And there's plenty of other medicines out there that you could give somebody. Instead, they just sent me home with like a bunch of huge capsules, and they were like, oh, just take these. So I get home, I'm eating, drinking like normal, which I should have not been doing. They should have had me on a liquid diet. I should have been in the hospital still. They sent me home as if I was fine. I wake up the next morning in excruciating pain, screaming, begging my mom, please take me to the hospital, something's wrong. I almost fainted. I was sitting on my couch like praying to God. I was like, am I dying? Like it was the most indescribable pain. Like I've never felt anything like that in my life. So right away my mom decided we're not taking her back to Staten Island Hospital because clearly they were terrible. So she called NYU, which is where my brother's doctor is, and rushed me there. So I forgot to mention though, when I started feeling the pain when I woke up, I tried to eat plain toast and drink Tylenol, like liquid Tylenol, and I started throwing up profusively over and over. So by the time we were in the car going to the hospital, I was still throwing up in the car. It was like a 40-minute drive to an hour drive to the city. So I spent the whole drive there throwing up. I was so weak. I finally get to the hospital. They take me in. They're doing blood work. They're doing more CT scans. They're taking my urine. They're doing all of that. And that's when I really found out the severity of what was going on. I was in the hospital for 12 days. I had extreme fever. I was throwing up, diarrhea, extreme abdominal pain, like really bad. So because of the fistula and the abscess, I had a really bad infection. So I had like really high fevers, like I'm telling you, like drenched, like as if I just went in the pool with my clothes on. I would wet the whole hospital bed. They would have to change my clothes, change the bed. It was just really bad. So I had really high fevers, chills. I was still throwing up, which was like really annoying, and I was on so much antibiotic to get that inflammation down and get rid of that abscess, the infection. So every day at the hospital it just felt like I was like, oh, am I gonna go home today? And it was like, no, I still had fevers. They wouldn't let me go home until my fever went down, but when I went home I still had fevers for about like a month after. So that was like a really tough time for me. So on top of all this, because of the amount of medication I was on, I developed a yeast infection in my mouth, which I didn't even know was possible. So my whole tongue was like white, covered in like, it looked disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. I was on medicine for that too. It definitely was rough, like it took a toll on me. I think I was just in a bad mental state because I was going through a breakup and the stress of a breakup while I was in the hospital, so I couldn't like deal with all my emotions. So I was definitely going through it. So when I got out of the hospital, I was prescribed a steroid called prednisone, which if you have Crohn's, you most definitely know what that is. That's just for your inflammation and to help it go down. So the bad thing with the steroid was I lost 15 pounds being in the hospital, and then I gained it all back. I gained a shit ton of weight. I was eating all the time. You get this thing called moon face, which like your face literally rounds out and just blows up, and nothing you do can stop that from happening because it's just a side effect of the medicine. I would get really bad like heart racing, anxiety. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up like 6 a.m. every day. So that was really annoying. But after being on that for I want to say about like a month, maybe longer, I got off and I was switched to Humira. So they didn't want to do my colonoscopy endoscopy right away because of the inflammation and I guess like the narrowing that was happening. So they waited till April and they did it, and that was like the official confirmation that I had the disease, even though we already knew. So I got that done, and then I was prescribed the Humira, which is just a self-injection. So you basically get it delivered to you in the mail, and every 2 weeks I would take 40 milligrams. You just stab yourself in the leg. It's really not that bad, even though I was so scared of needles. So when I started lessening the dose of my steroid, I actually began to start throwing up and I was sick. So I had to go back on the steroid. So now that I just looked back, because I have all this like written down that I used to like journal it, I was on the steroid for like 2 months. So now looking back, I can understand why I got so fat. But I'm glad to be off of it. So I went through the rest of those months and all of the summer being basically symptom free. I was feeling so good on the Humira. I was finally in remission, I guess, but it was just kind of not like a straight remission. It was always like an up and down. Like I would have patches of being sick and then I would be fine for so long. So in October, I decided to message my doctor because I noticed my pain coming back a lot more. So he sent me to go get an MRI and some blood work. And when I got the MRI back and I met with my doctor and he discussed the results, he basically told me that the damage was so irreversible and all the scarring and the narrowing, and that he felt that even if I was switching to another medicine and going on the Remicade or whatever, that it would not help me in the long run because I would be like I was before, another 3 months feeling good, and then I would just be sick again. So he recommended surgery, which basically for me is kind of like my last option to feeling better and removing that disease portion of my intestine. So we met with him, and then we still had a lot to think about. I was obviously really nervous. I've never had surgery before. Waited a little bit. We met with the surgeon, and the surgeon basically said, like, reviewing your MRI results, I know for sure that this is what you need. So the surgeon just explained to me what the procedure would be. He told me that it's a 3-hour surgery. It will be taking out part of my small intestine, part of my colon, and I will be getting my appendix taken out. And along with the disease portion that's coming out, my fistula will be coming out as well. My surgery is actually coming up in a few days. On Wednesday, November 4th, I will be going to NYU for my surgery. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited to make the next step in me feeling better. So this procedure can leave me symptom-free for years. I could be in remission for a long time. Unfortunately, since Crohn's is not curable, it's just treatable, there's always a chance that it's going to come back, or the part where you take out and reconnect, a lot of the times the disease just comes back in that portion. So we're hoping for the best. So tomorrow I'm going to the city for all my pre-testing. I'm getting my blood work, whatever else before surgery, pre-op things that they do. And then I'm getting a COVID test. On Monday, I have an appointment for the ostomy bag nurse. So that's in case I am on an ostomy bag after the surgery, which I will explain in another video if I do have to get the bag. But so I will be in the hospital for about 4 to 7 days, depending on how my stomach is healing and if there's no problems. And it'll be about like a month recovery until I'm able to like start walking around again. So I am very nervous. But I am happy because the procedure will be laparoscopic, so that will basically mean that on my stomach, I will have 3 like small incisions, so I will not have like a huge cut down my whole stomach. They will go in with those tiny cuts and then put cameras in that allow them to see what they're taking out, so that's good. So I will be making a vlog of my whole surgery day, so I will be recording as much as I can in the hospital and as much as I can after my surgery. Most of it will probably be my mom and dad recording because I'm going to be super out of it and probably looking crazy, but I want to get footage and just explain to you guys everything, and you guys could see how I'm feeling after. So I was really nervous to make a video because I don't want people to like judge me or be like, oh, she's looking for attention. Like, I go on YouTube every day and I Google people with Crohn's, their journey, their story, their symptoms, their surgery vlogs, and for someone who has it, who's like overwhelmed going through the diagnosis, it helps to watch other people, because I was diagnosed and within less than a year I'm getting surgery. Like, I feel like I haven't even processed the disease, and I think that's where I get overwhelmed, like getting diagnosed and within a year needing surgery. It's just a lot. Like, when you go from someone who's healthy every day to eating whatever you want, going out with your friends, to being scared to go out because you are scared of a stomach ache, or being scared to go out because you're tired all the time, you're constantly suffering with the fatigue, you don't feel good, like, it just drains you. I'm 21 years old, so to be diagnosed at this age, it's like I can't go out drinking with my friend, even though there's a pandemic going on. Like, I want to be able to go to a restaurant and like have a drink or eat whatever I want, and it just sucks always worrying in the back of my head about my stomach. Trying to sit here complaining either, because it could always be like something so much worse, and I'm blessed to be alive and able to get a surgery to help me. But I just want to spread some awareness and let you guys know my story. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if I'm like talking really low. I'm just kind of like shy and I've never filmed a video in my house. My mom's upstairs, so I don't want her to hear me. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my surgery vlog.